Hey, what's up guys, it's Carson, and today I have my top surgery consultation. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna film, but I will go ahead and talk about what we do in there. So unfortunately, living in St. Louis, there isn't a ton of top surgery doctors in the area. There's doctors here that can do it, but there's no doctors here that specialize in it. The closest doctor that specializes in it, I guess, would be Kansas City, which is only about a 4 or 5 hour drive, and I am trying to make a consultation with that doctor, but that doctor is pretty booked up, has a very long wait list, isn't making any appointments right now because of COVID, and won't even take any kind of consultation until you get a psychologist letter, which I just finally got last week. So since I went informed consent, basically I just called this doctor and I asked to make an appointment for top surgery, and they told me that I needed to get 2 letters. So I got 1 letter from my regular doctor and 1 letter from a therapist. And to get the letter from the therapist wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Basically, I looked around for LGBT therapists in my area, and I called one and said, hey, I want to get a top surgery letter. Is that something you do? I would ask that over the phone, because the first therapist I went to, I didn't ask that over the phone because I thought, it seems like a weird thing to ask. Like, she was listed as an LGBT therapist, and I showed up and she's like, hey, so like, what do you want? And I said I wanted to get a top surgery letter, and she was just like, well, I don't write letters for surgeries, I only write letters for hormones, which I'm already on hormones, so that's not, very useful for me. To be honest, that therapist seemed like really irritated, like I wasted her time, but she also kind of wasted my time, and I guess it's a little bit my fault that I didn't look into that first, but I figure if you're an LGBT therapist, you would write letters for surgery. Apparently that's not the case, so I would suggest ahead of time asking that they do write letters. So yeah, basically called someone and was like, hey, I need a letter for top surgery. She said, I probably can't do it in 1 visit, probably can do it, in 2 or more. Everybody's gonna be different. I was pretty much able to get it in 1. I did go 2, but it was like 1.5 sessions. And I think a lot of that is because I'm 29 and I've been on testosterone now for 15 months. So, I mean, if I hadn't been on testosterone as long, or if I was a little bit younger, I could see where maybe they would be a little bit more weary about writing a letter so fast. But yeah, like, I'm, super confident in this. So she was just like, here you go, here's a letter. So many people act like informed consent is a bad thing because people are just giving out hormones and surgeries left and right. But you can get a therapist to, do that for you just as quick. You can go to gender therapy and say, hey, I think I'm trans. And they'll be like, here you go, here's some testosterone. So really, you just need to know what's right for you. Don't rely on someone else to tell you what you are, because no one else knows you like you know you. If you're trans, you're trans. I don't think a therapist can be like yes or no. I don't think it's right for a therapist to tell you you are trans when you might not be, or to tell you, no, you're not. They could probably help you work through it, but really, that's on you. So I still think it's fine that I went informed consent, and I'm glad I was able to get a letter as quick as I was, which it looks like the therapist billed insurance and actually covered some of it. So it only cost me $50 for each visit, which I think her hourly rate's usually like $120, but billed insurance, which I'm really surprised covered, because my insurance generally doesn't cover mental health, which therapy would be considered mental health. So yeah, so basically today I got my consultation. I've only seen 6 results from this doctor, and they're kind of inconsistent. Some of them are like, they're okay, and then a few of them are really good. I really want straight scars that are symmetrical. That's very important to me. I mean, my favorite doctor is Dr. Garamoni, but he doesn't take insurance at all, and he's expensive. Like, I just couldn't afford him. And the doctor in Kansas City has pretty similar results to him. I have seen results from this doctor that look like that, but they're just so inconsistent, and I don't know. So I'm just gonna have to judge it when I'm in there and ask, like, what causes straight scars or curved scars or symmetrical scars, because I've seen results that like are super symmetrical, super straight, seen curved scars, seen non-symmetrical results. And for me personally, if I'm gonna pay a lot of money for a surgery, I want it to be symmetrical, and I want straight scars. That's just what I personally like. Also, this should be covered by insurance, but I do have a out-of-pocket max and a deductible. So depending on like how insurance decides to like want to cover it or not, I might have to wait till January. I really wanted to get top surgery this year, but I also want to get a hysterectomy, which also should be covered because I'm having issues. But if I'm gonna have to hit my out-of-pocket max, I'd rather just do it right at January. That way, one or the other surgery should definitely be pretty much 100% covered. So in a way that sucks because I might be looking at, you know, not getting surgery for another like 6 months, but I would rather wait 6 months and save a like significant amount of money than get it this year and then have to get a hysterectomy maybe next year and maybe have to pay for one or both out of pocket. So yeah, anyway, my appointment's in like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go in there in a little bit and I'll let you know how the consultation goes. Hey, what's up guys? I'm back from my top surgery consultation. It's actually been a few weeks because when I first went, I had to get rescheduled again and I didn't really feel like remaking the intro that I made, so that's why I look a little bit different. So basically I showed up and they were like, yeah, that doctor's actually not here today. We're gonna have to reschedule you, which is a little bit frustrating because they said that they had been calling me for months, but they did call me and left like a message that said press 1 to confirm your appointment, and then they sent me a letter that had the date and the time on it. So if they were really trying to get a hold of me to reschedule, it just doesn't seem like that stuff would have happened. So I do think there was some information that got misconstrued, which is a little bit frustrating, but fortunately I only live like 20 minutes from this doctor, so it wasn't like the biggest inconvenience for me. I was expecting them to make it like way later, which I'm glad they were able to get me in one more week, because I think I made this original appointment back in like November of 2019. The original appointment was in April, and then that got pushed back because of COVID to July, and so I was really expecting them to be like, okay, well, we'll reschedule you for like 2 or 3 more months, but yeah, it was the next week. So next week I showed up. They obviously ask you like COVID questions and stuff like that, and then take me into an exam room. You sit there without your shirt on and it's super uncomfortable. A doctor came in. The doctor that I'm looking at right now is Dr. Marissa Tenenbaum out of West County Plastic Surgeons in St. Louis, Missouri. She is probably the best known top surgeon in St. Louis. Unfortunately, there are no doctors in the St. Louis area that like specialize in top surgery. There's plastic surgeons that can do top surgery, but there's just no one that specializes in it here. There is another doctor in Kansas City who does specialize in it, and I'm trying to get a second consultation with this doctor, but they are really hard to even get a hold of. Half the time they don't answer the phone. The couple times they have answered the phone, they wouldn't make an appointment for me because I didn't have a top surgery letter, which you have to have before you even make a consultation with them. And I'm in a couple groups online, and other people say the same thing, that they are just really difficult to get a hold of. So, I mean, I really want to try to get into this other doctor, but it's like, I can't even make a consultation right now. So anyway, with Marissa Tenenbaum, her bedside manner, or whatever you want to call it, was great. Very bubbly personality. She was very respectful. I liked that. My only issues is I was only able to find about 6 or 7 results from her. And out of those 6 or 7 results, 2 I loved. They were great. And the other ones were just kind of okay for me. Like, they weren't terrible, but they weren't what I exactly want. So I think I've said this before, but for me personally, I really like straight symmetrical scars. If there's going to be any curving, it needs to be like, I'd have to like scoot up for it to be in the right placement. Obviously the scars would be down here, but if they're going to curve, they can curve into like the armpit area, but I don't like curvature here. I've seen a lot of scars that are just very like U-shaped, and in my opinion that's like a boob shape. So I don't like it for a couple reasons. One, I think it literally looks like the shape of a boob, and I'm trying to get rid of those. Why would I want the scar to look like that? 2, I don't really ever plan on living stealth, but if you were to try to live stealth, okay, if I was to walk down the street or the beach or whatever and I saw someone with top surgery scars, like, I know what top surgery scars are, and they are getting more prominent even with cis people where they know what they are. So if you have really curved ones, it just kind of draws my eye of like, okay, I know what you have. And if you were to try to live stealth and try to like make up a lie on like what those scars could be from, I just don't know that anyone would buy it if you have if they're like in the shape of boobs. If they're straight, you could probably get away with saying like, oh, I got in a car accident and they, had to do surgery because something got shoved into me, or you could say I've had a double lung transplant, but like no one's gonna do a double lung transplant in like this shape. Like, so personally, I like straight symmetrical scars, and I asked her about that because the 2 that I really liked, they were exactly what I want. Like, I like pretty much results like Dr. Garamoni has. and then the other ones were a little bit more curved and not as symmetrical. She basically told me it's just kind of how like your anatomy lays, and unfortunately she told me my anatomy is already really curved, which I see what she's talking about. Like, she basically just told me like mine are already really curved, and the scar shape she tries to go for is of the pec muscle, but like I guess they're just gonna kind of lift it up and go in the shape that it already naturally lays, and mine lays very curved, so I'll probably get curved scars if I go with her. That's like one of the biggest reasons why I do want to check out this other doctor, because the other doctor that does specialize in top surgery, I'd say like 90% of her scar results I've seen are very straight and symmetrical. And I don't know, to me that's just important. Like, if I absolutely could not get into the other doctor, I wouldn't say no to this doctor. Like, I don't think she has bad results, but for me personally, I really want straight symmetrical scars, and I'm just not guaranteed that I can get that. I don't have any tattoos, and I know like I probably could get them, you know, covered up if I really don't like the shape of the scar, but I don't want that to like have to be an option for me, as I have no tattoos. And I like tattoos, but I don't know what I like or want for me, so I don't want that to have to be like something I have to think about. So yeah, so that's pretty much how it went. They basically told me it'd probably take about 6 weeks to hear back from insurance, and I kind of imagine insurance will probably try to deny it. It's probably gonna go back and forth between yes, this needs to be covered, and then being like, why would we cover this? So yeah, in the meantime, I'm still gonna try to make an appointment with the other doctor, which they're really known for top surgery, so I imagine the wait list to even get in is probably going to be closer to like 6 to 8 months. At this point, I'm really thinking I don't even know if I want to get top surgery in this calendar year. I'm thinking January, because I know I'm going to have to get a hysterectomy too, and I want to make sure I get them both in the same calendar year. If I get them both in the same calendar year, one or the other should pretty much be covered. I mean, the hysterectomy should be covered either way because I'm having medical issues. But if I get top surgery and I have to pay my out-of-pocket max of like, you know, $6,000 or whatever, then everything else should definitely be covered, including the hysterectomy, or, you know, vice versa. So I kind of do want to make sure that I just get it in January, because I do have a consultation for a hysterectomy, but it's just been indefinitely pushed back. Like, I don't even have a date for the consultation anymore. And it's starting to get so late in the calendar year. I mean, we're hitting August here pretty soon, that to me it would make more sense just to wait till January, just mostly for money reasons. So, and it'd also give me a little bit more time to lose a little bit more weight, because I don't want to have to like get any additional liposuction or man sculpting that I don't need if I could just, you know, work it off. So that'd give me more time, and then it also give me a little bit more time to try to get in with this other doctor. So that's how my consultation went. I mean, I guess it went pretty much exactly how I thought it would. Currently, if I get it soon, I have to get COVID tested, which I have heard is awful, but then a lot of people are saying it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I'm also kind of hoping if I wait till January, maybe COVID will be over and I won't have to get COVID tested, because I'm not like really looking forward to that. I don't want to have to get tested for something that I'm having no symptoms for, or I don't have, just to, I get why you have to do it, but yeah, I just rather wait till like COVID's done and then not have to do some extra unnecessary step that sounds uncomfortable. But I guess if I have to, I have to. So again, another reason why I want to wait till January. So anyway, hope you guys liked this video. Hope it was a little bit informative. If you've never had a consultation, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.